Guys, please be ready for dictation from the Hindu editorial section dated 19th November 2021. Ready. The centre will release over rupees 95,000 crore in one stroke to states this month. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced on Monday after meeting with chief ministers and state finance ministers to discuss the state of the economy and to sustain the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. After all, no amount of central policy fixes will suffice to revive the country's long somnolent investment cycle without states working in tandem. The government set aside the spate of recent confrontations with states over revenue, GST compensation concerns, and their fears about encroachment on their powers to initiate an economy focused dialogue independent of budget consultations and GST Council machinations. Its ready acceptance of states' request to expedite the sharing of taxable revenues. As in the case of GST compensation for this year, is a token of the faith it seeks to imbue. While most states have positive cash balances, access now to double the funds than usual will help them ramp up capital expenditure. The cash flow could also help several states catch up on their capex targets, on which hinge an additional borrowing limit of 0.5% of their gross state domestic product. The Finance Ministry's clarification that the excise duty cuts on petrol and diesel shall not dent the tax pool shared with states has also soothed frayed nerves. The rare and one-off meeting with CMs yielded several ideas and policy proposals, including a simple demand that the center share leads about prospective investors and enunciate a clear policy on green clearances. While the Finance Ministry believes that investments are on the cusp of a takeoff, public investments will need to do the heavy lifting for several more quarters before the private sector can be expected to spur the economy's growth. The center and states need to combine forces to make it an easier and swifter journey through red tape for potential investors. Commerce and Industry Ministry Piyush Goyal has said that just 10 states have joined the single window clearance system for investors and 4 more may join next month. It not only makes sense to sustain this freewheeling economic dialogue with states because the economy still needs collective hand holding, but it also merits a broad basing of the framework to include key economic ministries and occasionally the Prime Minister too. Investment facilitation was a key agenda item, so it would have been apt to include the industry minister in the deliberations to nudge states into joining the single window system. Closing this somewhat informal channel for dialogue with the states outside the framework of Niti Aayog and the National Development Council would be wasted opportunity with embedded economic costs. As much as the virtual summit meeting between Presidents Joe Biden and Xi Jinping spotlighted multiple points of continuing strategic dissonance between the US and China. It equally appeared to underscore in their minds the need for them to find common ground on contentious issues including trade and tensions surrounding Taiwan and the South China Sea. The summit itself was a long time coming, given that Mr. Xi has not been able to travel abroad owing to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and Mr. Biden entered office around that time too. Further, in March 2021, at a meeting in Anchorage, Alaska, between senior officials from both countries, a heated exchange ensued after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and said that without the rules based international order, there would be a much more violent world, and that Chinese activities in Xinjiang, Hong Kong, and Taiwan threatened that order and were not internal matters. In that context, it is unsurprising that even though the summit meeting yielded no major breakthroughs, Beijing was quick to claim a diplomatic victory, with Chinese state media proclaiming Biden retreats he does not support Taiwan independence. Such messaging is almost certainly directed towards a domestic audience, given that Mr. Xi is consolidating power to secure a third term for himself, a process that will culminate next year in the CPC's 20th Congress. At the top of the policy agenda that is causing bilateral friction is trade. After the bruising trade war with China prior to 2020, under a Trump White House, relief came in the form of the Phase 1 trade agreement, which requires that China buy $380 billion worth of American goods by the end of 2021. That has not happened, according to some analysts, in part owing to a shortfall in orders from Beijing for Boeing aircraft in view of the aviation slowdown. Yet, compromise may not be far away in this space, as the US Trade Representative hinted that the Trump era practice of permitting exemptions for certain goods from trade tariffs may be resumed. On Taiwan's independence, while the US post summit readouts suggest that Washington is adhering to its long standing policy in this matter, that it acknowledges but does not recognize Beijing's claim over Taiwan under the One China policy. The Chinese side indicated that Mr. Xi said it is playing with fire. Such comments likely signal that China will respond robustly to any Western moves seen as strengthening Taiwanese independence, for example, through direct arms sales to Taipei. Both sides will have to be even handed in managing their conflicts on trade and regional tensions, or else risk these issues spilling over into the global arena and disrupting the fragile ongoing recovery in economic growth and public health.